Salut à tous, c'est Matt et bienvenue pour de nouveaux vadrouillages, pour découvrir ensemble une expérience que je m'attendais pas du tout à faire à Athènes. La dernière fois quand on a visité l'acropole, je vous ai parlé de l'Odéon d'Hérode Atticus, qui était donc un amphithéâtre et qui sert encore aujourd'hui pour des représentations et des concerts, surtout en été. Donc quand je me suis rendu compte que c'était le cas, j'ai fait une recherche rapide pour savoir qui étaient les artistes qui passaient pendant mon séjour. Je suis tombé sur cette affiche. Elle commençait juste sa tournée pour son 30e anniversaire et Athènes, c'était sa première destination. C'était le premier soir où elle se présentait en public en 2024. J'ai regardé rapidement sur internet s'il restait des places libres et il en restait littéralement une avant que ce soit complètement écrasé sur les côtés et qu'on n'entende rien. Alors bien sûr, j'ai pas enregistré en vidéo tout le concert, déjà c'est interdit. Malgré tout, en me cachant un petit peu, j'ai réussi à prendre pas mal de morceaux de vidéo, surtout entre les chansons. Donc je vous ai laissé le plus de moments où elle parle directement au public. Et puisque je suis sympa, je vous ai rajouté les sous-titres. Allez, c'est parti.
Smoking, eating or drinking is not allowed inside the theatre. After the end of the performance, you are kindly requested to follow instructions for safely exiting the theatre. Thank you for your attention.
Upon my lover's breast, and care and grief were dim.
How wonderful it is to see you all here this evening and share this.
So this is our first performance of this tour. It's always a bit nerve-wracking. We've got a few little things that we're still working out, but hopefully you didn't notice them. It's so great to see everyone, particularly after these very difficult 5 years, and I know that we're still living in challenging times, but I hope this evening we'll be able to set some of that aside and just focus on, feel some other things. For myself, in these past few years, one of the things we've embarked upon, which have been quite close to home, as you can appreciate, last year I banded together with some local musicians, not the wonderful ones you see on the stage, but a group of Celtic musicians called the Bookends. And last summer we performed at 3 or 4 folk festivals. ever assembled all the Celts, and I learned at that time that they were much more than this mad collection of anarchists from Scotland, Ireland and Wales and Brittany, but they were this vast collection of tribes that had fanned out across Europe and into what many would call Asia Minor. They came through this neck of the woods. One bunch tried to sack Delphi in 275, but they weren't successful. It's been interesting studying the history and the culture of the Celts over the years. By no means am I an academic. I'm a passionate amateur, to be sure. But one of the striking things about them, and since I've also in Canada become more familiar and conversant with some of the indigenous people, I'm discovering all these strands of commonality. And that with the Celts, not unlike the indigenous people, feel that perhaps their ancestors embodied in the trees or the salmon in the stream and so on. And the Celts had a deep reverence for trees. They didn't have all the science that we have now to appreciate what they give us, but they developed this alphabet that was based on the different qualities of trees. So over the course of many years now, I've been fascinated by trees. So this next piece harkens to that fascination, and it's a piece called Ancient Past. What is it? Ages Past. That's a good thing. Out of these trees, I wrote it from the farmhouse when I was looking out the window and I was seeing all these trees, very mature trees, probably, I mean, for us, maybe 150 years old. And they felt like witnesses. They were, my life would come and go and other people's lives would go and they'd be standing there growing, watching and so on. So here we go. Ages past, ages hence. About working in the extraordinary medium of music, as you get to meet some other really fabulous musicians. And we're just reflecting tonight, this next group of gentlemen are there going to join us. We've known and worked with each other sort of off and on for almost 20 years. And it's so gratifying to be able to work with them again. So I would like you to welcome Socrates Sinopoulos. Listening to those instruments. I love it to pieces.
Gosh, you know, it's tricky putting set lists together. You probably don't want to hear all this housekeeping. But I have to say I struggled with it to do the mask and mirror straight through without saying a word and then disappear for intermission. So, and now I realize that we're almost at the end of this set. Time goes by fast. Well, in the first script, this was going to be our last song, the next one. And I've just decided we're going to do the next one after this one. I don't know what we'll do when we come back, but anyways, yes, in 1980 something or other, I spent a fair bit of time in Ireland. It took me up to Donegal and down the west coast, and I sort of parked myself in County Clare. It's a tremendous part of the world, and I find myself still returning there, going off to the beach at Lahinch, and it's a very stormy kind of place, and certainly some of these locations informed this next song. Also, in the, I guess it was 1990, I was writing this piece, and I was heading off on, also after the pubs would close and the music would stop, people would go to somebody's house and do some dancing. it was really lovely. But I got thinking about the times changing, and certainly over the years that I've traveled there, I've looked to see, you know, are they keeping up the traditional music, and see it as a kind of metaphor for our world that is changing so very, very fast. So anyway, without further ado, as they say, this piece called The Old Ways. Well, we have come to the end of this road, but before we head off, I'd like to take this moment to introduce to you the people that I have the very, very great pleasure and honor to share the stage with. Some of us have worked together since the late 80s, and we're very much like a family, and I've got more sort of a family in that regard backstage. But beginning here on stage, I'd like to introduce on my right hand side on guitars, bouzouki, and Mr. Brian Keats. On drums, Mr. Robert Ryan. Mr. Dougie Phillips. On cello, Miss Caroline Lavelle. And on fiddle, violin, Mr. Hugh Marsh. I would also like to extend my deepest appreciation for the people that you don't see on this stage. They play as integral a part as anyone. They're sort of all around us, in front of us, and so on. They're the front of house, so thank you. Can you hear me? There we go. My mother used to have a wonderful saying. She used to say, "These are the good old days." And you kind of think, oh, the better times are over the hill, somewhere beyond this moment. And I'm just thinking here, for me, for us, I think it doesn't get any more exquisite than this, to share this evening with you. So we're going to finish off with a piece that I wrote for the visit, and wonderful to have Heike and Panos and Socrates join us out here. So we'll close off with this. I want you to all go on and with kindness in your heart, and hopefully it won't be too long till we see you again.
From a deep well of desire, from a fountain of forgiveness, beyond the ice and the fire. Cast your eyes on the ocean, cast your soul to the sea. When the dawn
super concert dans un des lieux les plus magiques d'Europe, je pense. Je suis vraiment content d'être resté. Maintenant, par contre, je crois que le dernier métro il est parti, donc soit je trouve un bus, soit je marche, soit je prends un taxi, mais bon, voilà, c'est le prochain vadrouillage de la nuit.